Sawadika. You guys, I am in Thailand, in Bangkok, on the rooftop of Somerset, and I'm so excited to bring this episode to you. So let me just give you a little backstory on this project. A group in Thailand has brought me in to consult this rooftop garden that they're working on. I'm actually going to have a really cool edible rooftop garden here, and I just want to show you guys what has happened to this garden. So let me just bring you close up to see what's going on here, the problems that we've been seeing because a monsoon just came through and totally tore down some of the plants. The trellis in the back that you can see here just completely collapsed. There's just been damages that I want to show you, and then we're going to do some transplanting, some things that would help out the plants, and hopefully that would get the plants growing healthier. So here's a nice rustic trellis that they've very easily put together with some branches. I think this is really cool, very easy to do. Some cucumbers here, as you can see, they are being quite stressed. So when the monsoon came through, this completely fell over and it hit that plant right there. That's the kale. You can see it's completely ended up just being on top of that point right there. These cucumber leaves are a bit stressed. We can do some pruning here to fix it up, and some of that has snapped, like these parts here, but the plant is just so strong that it's recovering and putting out new growth and some flowers. But we are going to be doing some transplanting and remove some of the dead and unhealthy leaves and stems. Okay, right now it's about 2 p.m. in the middle of November. As you can see through this rooftop, it's all shaded actually. So very nice and comfortable for me to be gardening up here. But it does get some morning sun. It gets a few hours of sun in the daytime right now, but it does get really hot in starting about springtime all the way till like end of summer. So the strategy to this, we'll still have to look at it some more to figure out. But today I'm just going to be doing, basically getting these plants back to health and transplanting a couple of new plants that we got. As you can see, there's cucumbers growing on the top back here, but I want to show you some other plants that they've been experimenting growing here to see what works and what doesn't. Kale is looking beautiful here. I was a bit surprised because I know kale does well, in California and all that, but they do handle the heat and humidity quite well here. It also does depend on the variety, and they do go and talk to the locals to find out the varieties that are more specific to the climate here. This is the calamansi tree that I really love. I have this in California, and this is a really great citrus. It's easy to grow. It doesn't take too long to for the fruits to be ready to harvest. I got some tomatoes here, which we will be transplanting as well. So the thing that I've been seeing here is that a lot of things, because this is still in the experimental testing stage, that mostly they're just in these black plastic pots. Looks like they're about 1.5 gallon or 2 gallon pots. And the thing with this is that being in such a hot environment and in lots of sun, the dark color really heats up. So the plants tend to get a bit stressed, and I can feel how dry they can get. This one just actually been watered, so I feel a little bit of moisture, but yeah, they definitely need to be watered about twice a day. But given the amount of stress they go through, I would imagine them being a little bit more worse. The thing that they've been using on this is applying a low dose of REV with water, and the water is actually magnetically charged. He was showing me the pipe there. It was so cool, something new that I've heard about but never actually seen in person. So with that and with REV, which I've worked closely with before in my garden for like over a year now, and I was even able to get plants that have never greened up having issues, like my curry plant was eventually greened up and it's growing beautifully now, and my tomatoes that got herbicide poisoning that completely brought it back to life and fruiting again. And this is really the main product that they use for these plants. I wouldn't know for sure if it was the product that's been helping these plants to start blooming and fruiting, but REV is definitely one of the big main things they use here for all the plants on this roof. But the first thing I'm going to do is just remove all the unhealthy, dry, dead, broken sort of material, such as this one here. And you can see I'm going in pretty close to the main stem, just removing the dried materials, just so we don't want the plant to spend any more energy on things that are not thriving. Now come back and kind of remove some more as needed. Right over here, as you can see, this is all from the wind because these plants didn't get enough time to, train them on the trellis, but you can see how this part completely snapped, but this is a new growth, but this one is definitely gone. I'm just gonna cut it back all the way to where it snapped right there. And the plant might actually put out some new shoots here. That would be a bonus. And you can see that we're on the 27th floor, so it's very high winds. This is probably like nothing for what they've experienced. I'm gonna finish off pruning these and then we're gonna do the transplant. These cucumbers, I'm going to transplant them with this covered in soil just a little bit. Just plant them a little deeper, I think would help with more root growth. And then I decided to save this one because even though, this part looks like it's been damaged at one point, but it's completely recovered and it's looking really healthy on the top. And then check out this one. Isn't that crazy? Plants are amazing. This one completely split. The center has been exposed, but then the plant healed itself and it's actually flowering now. Okay, time to transplant. All right, we are going to be transplanting this cucumber today into this pot. Went out shopping at the plant market. So many amazing plants, edible and non-edible, variegated plants. Oh my goodness. So got some plants. We also picked up white pots. I think this should help with bringing the temperature down. And so in this mix here on the bottom, it's soil from just the local farms here, and a little bit of this Dakota peat was mixed in. Dakota peat is basically the raw version of like the liquid solution that I've been using. So this was in here, and then now I'm just gonna do a very simple way to transplant is to, you know what? I'm going to put a little bit of this rough cocoa core in here as a kind of help to improve drainage, and so the soil also won't be so compacted and just create a little more aeration for the roots. Okay, here we got some solution to dip this plant in before transplanting. So in this mixture, we got 50% Organic REV solution with 50% water, plus that 1 ounce of microalgae, which is a phytonutrients, just like, what we use like sea kelp for nutrients, for minerals, and just lots of carbon in here. Everything is just going to help with the plants to better absorb, better uptake nutrients, and reduce transplant shock. We are going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing we want to do is try to support the plant. Let me just sort of roll and press onto this to loosen it up. And then if you still have a hard time getting this out, there is the backside. There are some holes for drainage. You just push on that and it comes right out. There we go. Oh, and I can see there are some nice new growth of roots actually. Getting a little closer to show. See those white roots, those hair roots there? Just a little bit, they're growing slowly. Hope it'll hold together. There we go. All right. 5, 4, 3. I'm gonna roll it around a little bit. Get the side roots. 3, 2, okay. Okay. There we go. I'm just gonna plant this a little deeper, but maybe about half an inch, no more than that. But the base of the plant really wants to put out some roots, so I'm just going to assist that. Just gonna set that last inch or so with some mulch, and we're gonna use those rough, these really coarse cocoa core to lay on top. It's time to hang this. It's getting heavy already. Okay. All right, now I'm just going to apply. This is the same solution from doing the soaking, just kind of dilute it with water. And now going to pour this in, give it a nice soak. It's really rich. I'm just gonna do it slowly to allow the plant and the soil to absorb it. Okay, good luck, plant. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to be putting together this mix. It's really simple, pretty basic. This is I'm not sure if it's like a generic soil that you get around here, but this is the soil that's been brought to us by the landscape company that manages these, the landscape in this hotel, and it's pretty much just compost. It doesn't seem like there's other things. I'm not sure if there's manure, but it just feels like compost, and it smells like just really nice, yeah, compost to me. And the only thing I'm just going to be adding to this is this Dakota peat. This is basically the raw materials of that liquid solution of the Organic REV that I've been using a lot in my garden, and it really helps to, the plants to uptake nutrients and water better. I'm just putting about 5 to 10% of this in the mix. Just pour a little bit out here. Really trying to plant the tomato pretty deep in here. Okay, hold on to it, don't lose it. Okay. Oh, be nicer to have a little bigger bucket, but this is what we got to work with here. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Woo. Any part of the branches that would touch soil is going to root. A couple more scoops. Oh, look at this fat worm. Got a worm in here. It's a good sign. Okay, once we can find some more of these chunky cocoa core, we can put on top as mulch. There's quite a few in this pot overall, so let's go ahead and separate these and plant them individually. Mix a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to look at that. Warm soil. As I've mentioned before, that we are experimenting to see what type of vegetables would work well up in this garden. So the kale you're seeing here, they were grown from seed, whereas the tomatoes and cucumbers were purchased as plant starts just to see how they'll do here. So everything in the garden has been watered the same way with the same nutrients. Since the kale were started from seed on site, these seeds were pre-soaked with REV and then planted. So you can say that throughout the entire lifetime of this kale, they have been nourished with REV and mixture of water, just like everything else, but the plant starts did come in later on, so the root system isn't as vigorous as these kale. Anyway, I'm going to dip the transplants in this 50-50 mixture of REV and water with additional 5 milliliter of AMP microalgae with phytonutrients, and then we're going to plant them. Pick that up, it's heavy down. Goes. Good morning, guys. Want to show you what I ended up doing. Just doing a very quick support for the tomatoes here, just that triangular cage. And then as the plant grows, I'm going to just guide it, you know, with the string to support it. Just one stake here going across to stabilize the 2 posts. And these are the transplants that we did yesterday. Everything looks good so far. No transplant shock, but of course we are talking about, you know, we're still in the morning time. It's pretty normal for them to be a little shocked for the first few days, but hopefully this is a place that gets more shade than sun, that they'll be okay. Also, I noticed that there were strings on the bottom that was tied to the stake here for support. Totally was strangling the plants, so we clipped all of those, removed all of those strings. Here's the other bed that was planted yesterday. Everything looks really good so far. This is kale, and then there was a bonus bitter melon that I found in one of the tomato pots, separated it and decided just to plop it here just to see what happens. It can just kind of grow and maybe fill out the bottom here as like a ground cover, and then let it just fall down here, since bitter melon is a vine. I will be sure to give you guys some updates on this garden soon. Thank you so much for making this far in the video, you guys, and thank you to Somerset for hosting me. It's been a really lovely stay. Everyone's been super nice and helpful. I love that they are moving towards more green and sustainable style of living. So if you guys are looking for a place to stay, I'll leave their information below. Thank you again, you guys. I will see you right back here in the next one. Bye! Woo.